Just smile or smile or laugh. And that's a holiday joke. You can use that joke right up until Christmas. And the earlier you start saying it, the better the response you're gonna get.
I was just trying to process because it was November 9th and I was just checking what day is it?
Yeah,
I
no.
was like, how are we gonna skip right past Thanksgiving? It's gonna go to Christmas.
Now, trust me, if you're talking to someone and you just feel like, making the environment jovial and light, just say Merry Christmas. And a user, so again, that goes back to, we like to have fun. We like to always have fun. So anyway, we were just sort of doing I was basically explaining how, again, even though we're learning these concepts, this gentleman is teaching this information strictly from an informational, this is how you do this, these are the steps, this is the process. What we're doing is we're taking this information, and even though we are studying it and learning it, we are reorganizing it from the perspective of a consultant. And what I mean by that is, it's going to be our job to present this to our clients in terms of services. And I was just giving Anise an example. If I was not a consultant, I would just be learning how to do email marketing. But as a consultant, this is now one of my services. I now know how to do it. I can do it for other people. So how much would I charge? Right? How much would I charge to do a conversion funnel? How much would I charge to do a landing page? How much somebody needs a form? How much would I charge? How much would I charge to do paid ads? How much would I charge to do email marketing? So this is just one of the different angles that we want to be cognizant of, which I will be leading out in terms of that mode of thinking. Because again, there's a lot of things that this guy doesn't say, there's a lot of things that this guy does not say. And I know as a consultant, we need to know, or it will help us to know. And I was just, because I was showing or giving an example to Anissa that Anissa has been has been courting clients with the expectation to turn those experiences into contracts. But once you have if you were presenting this to a customer, they're going to want to see this from how does it help my business? So they really don't care how to do it. They just want to know, how does it help my business? And so we have to be, we have to be able to bridge the gap between what they need to know, because all of this they have to participate in. But we're going to be successful once we've established the quickest way to explain it to them in the simplest way, so that they have just enough of an understanding so that that understanding can translate into the conversation of how it helps their business. So just a little food for thought. Okay, so user, how's everything coming? Have you been going through the training?
Yes, I did. And things so far are pretty easy. And,
okay, good.
Yeah, very, digestible, basically.
Okay.
I got everything yesterday. Whatever you explained, it was pretty clear.
Understood. Now remember, just after I've done what I've done, I'm looking for you guys to take that and jump into this training and start creating your campaigns within the software.
Okay.
All right. And to do that, you just go here to create and just start playing around. Create a newsletter. Because this is where your questions are going to come. Right? Why is this email address here? Why is this email address here? Right? Recipients. how do I add recipients? Obviously, I click here, add recipients. Could these recipients already be assembled, which you would assume in a marketing campaign that you have a database of people that you have already inputted. And that's where you can see all this business marketing tips, FDENT. Each one of these will show you how many people are in that list. Well, how do you create a list? Right? So again, you got to dive in, right? So again, please don't take this training as you're done for the day. That's why I'm making this 10 to 15 minutes of just, okay, let's kind of highlight, go over it, but again, dive in. You know, and to be blunt, usually this is what we're paying you for, you know, to get in and to start creating. All right, so have fun with it, but definitely be diligent about making that happen. Is that okay?
Okay, yes.
Okay. All right, so let's jump in. Let's jump in. Just 3 quick items to go over today. Training session number 2. So as you can see, we really only have 3 more sessions, and we've covered the entire training. Right. So this is why, again, and that's I need to look at a calendar, but I think we're going to be done by the middle of next week. Lord have mercy. And this is good because, again, at that point, we will all have a good overview, and now we can start using this time to go over what you've been working on. All right, so that's probably going to happen like right before Thanksgiving. So there's no rush. I don't want you to feel there's pressure to rush to do these things. But again, I'm just showing you how easy it is. You know, it's 3 o'clock in the day. You're like, you know what? Let me just jump in here real quick and play around. Autoresponder. What I do? Just click create. It's going to open up things you may understand. Well, no, I mean, you're probably not going to understand what you're seeing, but at least this way you're familiarizing yourself. And then together, as we start to create our individual campaigns, we can share information with one another on what is this, how does it work? And like I said, that conversation is going to be spearheaded between Anise and I, and eventually you as well, Yusra. How does this convert to a conversation between a consultant and a client?
Okay.
Okay, so, all right, so today, initial setup, import contacts, registration forms, easy stuff. And you're right, it's not hard. Again, the introduction of who we are. Initial setup. So initial setup, if you look at the way he's describing it, and this is where I'm starting to make the distinction, he's actually describing it from how do you set up an account with GetResponse, and what are some of the first things you need to do in your initial setup. Just so I do want to share this with you. The training video is divided up into certain sections so that you could actually just go to that section if you wanted to look at it. Right. So if you wanted to do the initial setup, it would be at the 13-minute 36-second mark. Right. So if I go here in the video to the 13-minute 36-second mark, here's where he starts going through initial setup. Okay, so the video is actually, you don't have to watch it all the way through like a movie. You can actually go through each section or the sections that you want. You can watch it through like a movie. And I actually do that on occasion when I'm trying to master a subject. I play around with watching it holistically and then watching it in its various components to get a full understanding. But again, at your leisure, you can go through and watch what initial setup. But here's where again, he's talking about the things that I've already done to set up our account. So this account has already gone through the initial setup part, which is why it has a picture, username and password. There are specifics on the password, which you want to know. There are some things that they talk about in the initial setup, which are very important. One of those being the email that you use in your setup. It cannot be a Gmail account. It has to be an email associated with a domain. And as you study, you'll see that there's a reason for that. They won't accept a Gmail account. This is something that you want to know when you're talking to your customers, because again, they may want to use a Gmail account. And again, they may want to use a Gmail account. And here's the other thing. Some customers are okay with you running your campaigns for them through your account. Right? So as we start moving forward and we start creating, we're going to have a lot of accounts in here that we're running for clients, but some clients want their own get response account. Right? So you're going to have to be able to give them that option. Right? They want to have their own control. They want to have their own environment. They want to have their own username and password. So, again, you're going to have to find out from them what is their level of comfort. What environment makes them feel most at ease. And so that way you would want to know, if you've got to set up a separate get response account for a customer, how to do that. And then some of them want to do it themselves. They just want you to show them. Right? And sometimes they want you to show them how to set up the account. They want you to show them how to create, all of the different aspects of the platform. They kind of want you to train them so that they can do it themselves, or they can have someone on their team do it. Right? They would still pay you the same amount as if you were doing it yourself for them. So that's another thing to keep in mind. So that's why this first slide, initial setup, again, there's two. There's one for the get response setup, where again, you're giving the customer the option, again, for their own platform. In that scenario, you need to know the specifics or the requirements for setting up initially. And then also the initial setup for the campaigns themselves. These are things that you want to be planning. And we will dive deeper into that. How are you going to be communicating with your customer? What platform are you going to use? Get response is not set up to have communication between parties. It's set up to create campaigns. And then those campaigns are applied to the platforms that you already have set up, whether you're using Google Drive, whether you're using email, whether you're using text, whether you are using a combination of all of them, whether you have a CRM, a customer retention. What does the M stand for? I hate when that happens. I'll get it before the meeting's over. But you have these portals, these platforms, Monday.com, HubSpot, other, there's a lot of platforms out there that you can literally use to have a working relationship with a customer in terms of sharing ideas and data in a confined environment or a safe environment. All right, so that's also the initial setup that we want to be thinking about. Okay, campaigns, create a concept, plan it out, execute it, set up your platform to guarantee your success. Importing contacts. Okay, this is where you're gonna want to play around with this. And I'll say again, just start. Just go in and just put a name in there. If you got some email addresses in your Gmail account, let me just give you an example of what I'm talking about. So going to my Gmail. All right, so I'm going into Gmail. I have 4,624 basically emails in my inbox. Now, a lot of this is not spam, but a lot of this is really marketing campaigns. But again, some of these are, actual individuals. Probably if I go to my sent, and these are things that you'll be able to explain to your clients. If you go into your email and you go to your sent, this is probably where you're going to find people that you were talking to. Right now, how many do I have in my sent? Does it tell me? So I know it's thousands, right? But again, this is where you show a client, you can just go into your sent and you can just start getting email addresses. If I go here, David Kish, this is his email address. Well, this is a LinkedIn account, but here's his email address. I could get his email address, drop it in to get response. All right, so that's how you want to start. Now, there are some automated ways to do this, but they are not easy to learn. Okay, and then you have to know that when you're talking to your clients, that's the first thing they're going to ask you. Can I import all of my email contacts? And we're going to need to know that answer, because the answer is not as cut and dry as yes and no, right? So you're going to have to know how to access various different types of, we're going to have to know how to access various different email accounts. They could be using Outlook. They could be using Yahoo. They could be using Gmail. They could be using, what's the Lotus Notes. There's a lot of different platforms out there that they could be using. And it's important for us to have a good understanding of all of these different platforms. Not experts, but just a working knowledge of, well, how do you import contacts out of Outlook? How do you import contacts out of Lotus Notes? How do you import contacts out of Gmail? So yes.
Yeah, so you said if our client goes like, can I import all my email contacts? So you said we can't just give them a yes or a no. We need to give them an answer. So like, for example, I'm a client and I'm asking you, can I import all of my contacts off of Gmail? So what's the answer that you're going to give?
Well, the answer is going to come after you know how to do it. Right. So again, I've tried it and I haven't been able to do it.
Okay.
Because,
Okay.
and let me show you. All right. So I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. All right. So anytime I'm trying to get the answer for something, obviously Google or YouTube, both those are your first two go-tos in how to do something. But if you go here, right, and I'm going to just type how to import, and it should already be in here, contacts from Gmail. Import contacts. Oh no, not contacts. How to import email addresses from Gmail. Export email addresses. Yeah, same thing. Export, meaning you want to get them out of there. Okay. If you were to go through these, I'm gonna tell you what the problem that you're gonna run into that none of these explain. The file is not an Excel or a Word file. And I want to say, if I remember correctly, and I can go back through it, the file, and I will do Google. Export. Simple Gmail. So this is where sometimes it'll give you a quick explanation. Export email addresses from Gmail. All right, here it is to Excel. Okay, listen, if you go into your Gmail account and you do this, it doesn't work. Select the file, it doesn't work. And so again, we're gonna have to do it ourselves to be able to tell our clients and show our clients how they can do it. You're right, because if you don't know how to do it, that means you've got to change the process based on what you know how to do. So if I was talking to a client right now, because I don't know how to export all of them out of Gmail, and this is why I'm saying it's not just as cut and dry as yes and no. My answer would have to be, I think that you can, right? There's information out there that says that you can. I've tried it, it didn't work. But what you can do as an alternative is you can go into your Gmail account and you can just start pulling emails from the account itself and importing them into GetResponse. And we're going to have to learn, actually, as we're going through our training, there may be some validity in the second option. Because here's the thing, if I go in here and I export all the emails out of Gmail, most of that is spam.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing, you know, I was going to mention. Because
Yeah.
like most of them are spam, so we can't just include all those email addresses.
Right, because
I
if you
get
did, if you did, it's almost like you're kind of wasting your time. They're not even gonna respond. So you got you got emails in your account that it probably would have been better off not having them, because also the account itself, the GetResponse account itself has 1,000, well, based on the type of account that you have, there's a limit to the emails that can be brought into your database. So the account that we have is 1,000. Now, pretty soon we're going to upgrade to the unlimited. But when you're talking to a customer who said, let's say they want to create their own GetResponse account, they may not want to go with the unlimited. They may want to go with the basic. So these are just all the details. Again, we're going to be learning as you go. But yes, user, great point, and you're right. You want to be cognizant of the fact that it may be worth your while to input those emails one at a time, because you want each one of those emails to convert over into whatever outcome that your campaign is striving for. In our case, we want them to turn into consulting customers. Okay, so that's important, and you'd be surprised. Well, first of all, how fun it is, right, to start creating your own database. That start off one day with one person in your database, and by the end of the week, you got 500. Like, that's exciting. That's five. That's so Anissa, instead of communicating with 12 people, now you've got 500 people that you are now communicating with through your marketing campaign. That's exciting.
Yeah.
And again, if you've handpicked, right, you've gone through your Facebook, and these are people that and you're saying, hey, I want you to be a part of this, or hey, do you would you be interested in some marketing services? And they say yes, and then you start sending them information. That's exciting. And again, now instead of having to reach out to these individuals, let's see, I have, instead of reaching out to these individuals one at a time, now again, you're able to put them in a campaign and reach out to, for me, it'll be 2,000 people. Right. So the GetResponse plan that I have right now, I could not even fit all these people in there. Right. So that's good for me to actually be selective on going through which one of these people do I think might be in need and might be responsive. So again, these are all the things that you will not find, in this training, but these are the things that we will be bringing to light from a consulting standpoint when it comes to these various concepts. So again, import context, just get familiar, teach the importance of an import. You want to let your clients know, again, whether they're paying us to do it, because even if they're paying us to do it, somebody's got to send us the emails. right? So we've got to, we would have to set up that process, you know. But what we would want to tell them is just send as many as you can, as often as you can, right? Because again, once you receive those emails for that specific person, that's when you would actually be putting them into a list specific for that campaign, which is what I was showing you here, your lists. Right. So again, right now we have these two lists. So again, I'm expecting to see you all's lists in here very shortly. And again, you can, start adding emails into your list. Right. So this list contains just this one, obviously the setup of FDEN Consulting. Okay. And the last concept for today is import context. Oh, setting up registration forms. So this is the fun part. When you go into a website and a window pops up, register here, or when you're setting up a campaign, a marketing campaign through a landing page or what have you, and it has a registration on it. So have fun in creating the forms. Just get started, learn how certain forms fit. Some of these forms will fit based on what you're trying to accomplish. And then also begin to familiarize yourself with the web pages and landing pages. Because for web pages, a client may want a registration form to pop up. But if you could also create a specific landing page, create a marketing campaign where that web, and again, I showed you an example yesterday. I'll just do one. Again, I'm just doing arbitrarily going into my email. Let me find one here. Okay, here it is. I'm gonna just look at this one here, Printful Holiday Newsletter. All right, so we're gonna be setting up things similar to this. All right, so do they have a registration, payment processing? All right, here's their registration. This is the registration form, right? Start the course. It should be asking for an email address. Okay, join the course. Okay, the only reason why it's letting me all the way in because I actually have an account with Printful, right? But that's the way I was able to get through that. But if I did not have an account with Printful, it would be asking me for my email address. Okay, here's another. So they have two forms in here. One is start course, one is sign up. This is actually more of this is also a registration form. Maybe the other one was more of a activation form. Okay, free online conference. All right, so again, I have an account, so it's already defaulted in there. But if I did not, this is where I would put my name and my email address. Once I click sign up, it actually goes into, if these people are using GetResponse, that email address would actually come back into GetResponse and it would land in a list that's been created. Okay. And last but not least, have fun, have fun, have fun. We're having fun today. We're having fun tonight. We're having fun tomorrow too. So yeah, no, just have fun, man. I mean, again, we're gonna be successful.
Yes,
And
we will.
our upbeat philosophy is going to transfer to so many businesses out there that are in this melancholy, semi-gloomy, I got to pay these bills and I got to get this contract and what am I going to do and woe is me. And we're going to be able to change their lives. So that's really why we do this, to be quite honest. Okay, that's all I had. Any questions or thoughts, comments?
It was a good session.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you for participating. I appreciate both of you all's participation.
And the Merry Christmas joke too.
Yusra, you gonna do all right. You catching on.
Honestly, you know, for a split second, I thought maybe I'm in the past. Maybe it's December.
That's the point. We want to keep people on their toes. Wait a minute, is it December? Did Christmas pass? Yeah, no, definitely have fun. But yeah, so again, just dive in at your leisure. Again, we're gonna be done with the covering all of the video by next week. So at least by then, just start, have some campaigns that you're starting to play around with. Start formulating your questions. And you don't have to wait for the training class to send the questions to me. If you have a question while you're looking at something, you can always just shoot me a text, or you should just shoot WhatsApp, just ping me. And let's have fun learning this material, because again, it's just going to turn into overwhelming success in the upcoming year.
Okay, great.
Okay, so
Will you be sending a copy of the recording?
yes, I can send a copy of the recording.
Please and thank you.
Most definitely, most definitely. All right,
Okay.
everyone have a
Right.
great rest of the. Oh, go ahead, you sir. You had a question?
Yeah. Basically, the guy I mentioned about yesterday.
Uh-huh.
Can you give me time for tomorrow so I can ask him to hop on a call?
Yeah, well, I don't. Yeah, let's make it separate. So our training is at 12. So you can either do it. Why don't we do it? Why don't we set it to after our training? So maybe you could tell them sometime around 1 or 1:30.
1:30 p.m., right?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
But we could do 1:30 tomorrow and hop on. Is he on WhatsApp?
Yeah, he is.
Okay, so we can just do a group call on WhatsApp.
Okay, great.
Okay. All right, everyone, have a wonderful rest of the day. Happy Easter, and we'll talk soon.
Take care.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.